Podcast. This is your first episode. Power Podcast is a podcast run by healthcare professionals for healthcare professionals and community healers, and establishing and achieving milestones through a continued commitment of raising transparency and awareness, not alone, but together as a community. At Empower, we believe in the power of community, diversity, and inclusivity to create positive change and to improve society. And our podcast goes to amplify those voices that often go unheard, featuring interviews with individuals and organizations who are making a difference in the communities at large and beyond. Through thought-provoking conversations and inspiring stories, join us, as we even have now a returning guest. And this is Julie, correct?
That's me.
And you're coming back to us out of Massachusetts.
Yes, nice and cold.
Oh, you're not alone. From where I'm at, too, in Northeast Ohio, it is also cold. And distinctions for everybody else, we have another Julie that was also a returner that we just dropped, too. You can check out hers as well. Julie Nurse. We have Julie Veteran. I want to, first of all, if I can start off, before I ask you to do it, I want to thank you for your service, Julie. It's my part to start off with thank you and acknowledgement. And then after that, I wanted to hand it off to you.
Well, thank you for having me here. I appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to discuss things with you. I definitely look forward to the conversation where it leads, because things are changing, and it'll be sooner than later where we see physical changes in our health.
Absolutely. And it's just the beginning, honestly. And that's the interesting part is, and to see all the other variables that are out there too, and the conversations to be had, and conversations being had, finally now too. All right. And it is once again Julie from Massachusetts returning here. We are thankful to have you. I'm going to start off, if I can, with the thank you and acknowledgement, and I want to go ahead and hand it off to you. Thank you for your service, Julie. Appreciate you making time to be here and taking a stand and for what it is to come here. So then I'm going to go ahead and I'll hand it off to you.
Well, I definitely appreciate the opportunity to have a conversation with you about these things. It's not something that I talk about a lot. My healthcare and my physical health, I have a lot of medical PT. So it's an interesting conversation to tap into for me. And I have a lot of experience in and out of the hospitals or inpatient care, outpatient care, different things. And it's always good to reflect on it and think about what things could change in the future. If I advocate for certain things, can I get those things? Or, like a simple chiropractor appointment, I've got to get a second opinion. But, it's a bureaucratic world where red tape kind of controls what you can and cannot get done from your healthcare team. And I think that's, it's such a shame that you have all this red tape to get through. If you want to get a chiropractor appointment, you can't go every other week to get it done. You have to go when it's really, really bad. You can't do maintenance care,
right?
Things like that.
Yeah. No. Let's hop right into it. So let's hop right into it. What, in your opinion, is happening in healthcare and health and wellness at large? Yeah. So, and I wanted to look here too. I'm veering off here for a second, folks. We recorded our last episode that I'm seeing on July 20th, 2023.
Wow, time has flown.
Just to look down. Yeah. Still, veteran, mother, artist, and wellness. Just for me to measure myself, because it's quite something to take on. And again, it's not a rush. It's not to say that at all. I'm thankful. But to see that how much time has flown, to give us measure, to be like, has it really only be? For me, that's just what I take on, of course. But
yeah, I think I don't want to repeat the same kinds of things that I was saying in the other episode. I think there was 2 episodes, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know at this point if you really could. I know this is just me going on a limb saying that, but at the point of what's occurring with healthcare, I really, you could try.
Well, I do think that healthcare professionals are looking for whole health and for the patient to participate in their healthcare. So, as opposed to sending you, for me, my situation, my doctor, I was trying to lose weight, and he said, well, why don't you just get Ozempic? And I'm like, no, I'd rather just do it myself and eat healthy and go to the gym, and instead of taking, a medicine. But
Right.
They listened to me. They were like, okay, if you want to do it that way, that's fine. Just let us know if you get stuck and you can't get any further, then we'll offer you that, But I do think they, like, my primary care doctor will give me the nutritional referral if I need it or if I ask for it.
Awesome.
Nutrition is a huge part of your whole health.
Mm-hmm. Lifelong,
and
too.
what you put in your body is really important. And I think the doctor that I see, she's kind of doing a better job, I guess, at making sure that my whole health is attended to. Like, I get the massage referrals once a year. I get those put in, and they're like a 60-minute massage.
Mm-hmm.
And those referrals were hard to get, but they're not being taken from me, so
right.
I'll
and do
utilize them.
you see improvement in quality of life? I'll just start there. Having them.
Yeah.
Okay. I have really nothing. I mean, for me as a nurse, of course, I'm speaking from nursing experience, but I really have nothing further on that one. I'll start with that. So.
Oh yeah, it improves my quality of life, but it also helps with the pain too, because my feet get so bad and my back gets so bad that I don't really have her do a full body massage. She just does tissue back, and then the massage is over with. But if I can get that every 2 weeks, then I'm doing great. But when I'm going to the massage once a month, it's like too long in between appointments.
With everything else that you're up to with your health, right? In that overall experience of right.
It just feels like it's too long between appointments, and the pain, I can tell, when I get the massage, my pain levels are a lot lower. But then going on 3 to 4 weeks after the massage, the pain levels go back up to like an unbearable, like, why does my back hurt right now? It's on fire.
Yeah. And then it becomes even a conversation. It's almost like your body's talking to you to be like, hey, like something's up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you listen to your body, it will tell you what it needs.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are used to ignoring the pains. Like, a pain is not just a pain. It's a signal for you to see, like, there's something going on. And I learned in acupuncture that...
What'd you discover? Yeah.
The pain that you feel from the acupuncture is like healing. So I've learned that with like the massage therapy and acupuncture, that pain is actually good for you in that environment.
Right. No. And the focal point on what we mainly know with pain is when you get a boo-boo or an pain, like that's our main lens around pain. But there are areas where even like post-workout, some people are sore, right? It still can be discomfort, right? Pain is can still be a area of discomfort too. It is pain, but and it's subjective and it's different with everybody. That's the other interesting part about it, almost to the point of a fingerprint, I would say.
Right. I would rather have the physical pain from working out than the fibromyalgia flare-ups. Not that working out removes the flare-ups, but it seems to regulate the pain. Like, I don't know, it's a medicine. I feel like working out, I love going to the YMCA and swimming. It's a full body workout, and like, I'm just so grateful that I can move my body. Like, there's some people that are in wheelchairs that can't even swim, or they don't have the opportunity to go to the gym, or some people can't even afford a gym membership. So I'm grateful that I can participate in my recovery and go to the gym every day, like I need to, almost every day. But
no, and then there's the overall pain assessment tool that even I use in nursing school. I look it up here. It's PQRST, and you can see if any of these variables within the pain are improved by what it is you're saying, even within your quality of life. And then provoking factors, so whatever can precipitate or bring on the discomfort, and then what it is that you're doing at the time for the onset, and then in all areas of measures. So then we're on to Q, which is quality, right? So pain or discomfort, its characteristics, right? And then region, or if it radiates from, say, like the feet to the back to the right, and then you have severity. And when in doubt, PQRST is what I usually have found too, because the nurse is doing the same thing. Severity, and then time. So how long you've had the pain, and does anything make it worse or better? And it sounds to me like you've found measures for all of PQRST so far. Again, that's just me. So Do your own research too, folks. Again, this whole podcast, as one of the past guests said too, is it's no substitute for primary system. It's why it's out there. Ask questions. That's one thing I can really say to take away from this. Stay empowered too, right? That's why we're here with the Empowera podcast. But anyways, floating back here. So quality of life out of physical activity, mobility, and being able to take a stand. And it was a hop, skip, and a jump. Ooh, let's talk about the hop, skip, and a jump. So hop, skips, and a jump is the way I kind of say that. And it's so far what I'm finding out an equivalence whenever someone's had their experience in the healthcare system. Because we all will be patients regardless if we want to or not. It's just how and when, and we want to be able to see what we can do to, from what I'm finding out, to do as much preventative if possible in the end, because it all can add up. Life is lifelong. But to see the overall integrity of healthcare very before us, not even at, I'd say, the economic level, but even at the social level, where, even current events, and I won't say any, you can do your own research, current events have people, discussing and being like, what's really up with healthcare? And like you said earlier, I'm glad, and not alone, but together, to have an avenue to offer people the ability to talk about these things, because it's gonna be a conversation regardless, and why not let it be across the airwaves, across the world, to see what it is somebody else can really take from this. So it's very valuable input, Julie. You have very valuable input. I really do.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what else are you looking? I guess, is there anything you're looking forward to in healthcare, or any things that are kind of rolling out at this time, because we speak now and it could change by tomorrow, but or initiatives that you're really, I guess, leaning in with that maybe individuals aren't?
Well, I think I would really like to see the VA overhauled with their payment system, what they pay people. I think it's part of your quality of life, like being able to support yourself after getting out. But the fact that I get as much as someone with a quadruple amputee, I make that much money.
Mm-hmm.
I that doesn't make sense to me. Like someone that had, someone with a Purple Heart that lost a limb is making as much as I am, but their sacrifice is way greater. And I know people in the military, they say not to compare service, but it's something I look forward to seeing maybe changing in the future, is the payment. I of course don't want to see people lose money. I would like to see people get more money, but
Mm-hmm.
I think looking at the VA and trying to make the processes that happen in the VA just more efficient. I'd like to see that happen. It seems to be things are just really slow. You call to your doctor, and then 3 days later you get a call back that's unreal, it's ridiculous. But I think another big thing that I'm looking forward to, that I've heard about in the past, not sure where it is, but the med beds of just whole health healing, where there's light therapy, infrared therapy, frequencies, different things to try to hack the human body. I mean, to just hack your DNA and make it healthy again. That sounds utopian.
No, or almost as quackery. And I think we're at that point, even as within different generations, whether the conversation is different or the same, where it is we're kind of going was that stuff really quackery? Was stuff that was used thousands of years ago effective? So we're I don't know. I feel like it's a slow drip process, when really we're not the slow drip area. You get what I'm saying? I'm not trying to put down, or to be the term is FUD, I guess, online, to bring in fear, uncertainty, or doubt. I think I'm just really, I guess, to take the stand as to what I feel is just the integrity of the way things are. And sometimes what is so, I feel like, is what is so. And that's where you can talk about what is so, and see if other people think the what is so is different. But is to see that, we kind of want to take the cookie cutter approaches here, when this is not a time for cookie, if I can say that 10 times fast, cookie cutter approaches. Cookie cutter approaches. But yeah, seriously. But on that point is at any time, and of course not alone but together. That's why we have the phrase "we the people." Not just of the United States. I'd say even of the world. But what that looks like too is a whole other area of integrity. And it's, well, then where's the roadblock? Okay, is there a roadblock after the roadblock? Okay, so what about the roadblock after the roadblock? And why is there a roadblock after the roadblock after the roadblock? Can we make it so there's not this many roadblocks? So that we can, and I'm not saying always to have, the swiftness and what is the term of computers that we as humans, I think, are so used to, seamless experience. Is life isn't seamless, it's really,
Right.
it's a roller coaster. Hang on. I don't know how to really say it beyond that, at least for right now. And
life has cliffhangers.
that's another one too. Yeah, be prepared for, and false summits, right? If not the same, but yeah, and be prepared for those. So, wow. Yeah, a whole other podcast on life. Sounds like a podcast series, Julie. Podcast series on just life and being. Wow. I mean, I think that's one of the areas here too, but I'm just, to see all the different movement as well and the distribution of funds, I would say, but like just economics being at its play. And from what I'd say too is the 100 days, good, bad, or indifferent, from whoever is POTUS or whoever, whatever area of leadership, wherever. It's there's literally a life, a worldwide thing that when there are changes within the structure, anywhere, I guess, is in any way, shape, or form, there are things that will occur. And what it looks like is the area of conversation. Again, we the people. So, and again, it's related, but at the same time, it's not, so it's still down to the individual experience. If we look at the wholehearted picture, are we forgetting then about the individual experience, and then same with the individual experience, looking at the wholehearted picture, right? So balance, good balance regardless, because there's a lot that we all have in common. That's the other, I think, is the juice, is even within health and wellness, culturally. I think, this is theory, nutrition and health and wellness cross-continentally than we do with really anything else. Media maybe, but other than that, I mean, eating, activities of daily living, and what it looks like in the integrity is different. For some people, it's being able to have the assistance of another human to get them up, at least get them into a chair, and then they can do the rest themselves. That's a whole lot to have, at least in your day, and then be able to do that kind of stuff yourself. It really, I mean, I've even seen people that just when it comes down to just the bodily process, there is milestone to completion. I have no other way to say it. They feel the measure, whether it's within any part of their body, and whatever process that would be done. I guess I've seen it that way. I would say, because I don't just want to say it by bowel movement. But bowel movement is a pretty big one for me. That's happened more frequently. That being able to see within measure. I'm just going to start there, but I don't want to start there.
Yeah, some people don't. Some people don't even have the option to go sit on a toilet.
Nope. Correct. I've done bowel programs for many patients. I'll never forget it. One of them, she literally had like a routine, and as long as you kept with the routine, you're good. It took like 2 hours, but otherwise, if you didn't do it, she would bear down like any other person would be in her situation and have a stroke, because that's what happens. And at least what happens. What you can do to prevent it. So,
wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This ALS patient. So yeah, never forget her. M. I'll call her M. But yeah, M was. Did I ever tell you about M or no?
No, my heart is breaking.
Oh no, absolutely not. I love M. So M is. She worked in a construction company with her husband. They had a very good return, and they went down to a safari in Africa. And when they did it, the Jeep flipped over, and husband was killed instantly. But Ma is still with us. And Ma, believe it or not, out of quality of life, if I can at least say this from what I discovered, she not only improved her own quality of life, but each day she was improving the life of other people. Even me as a nurse, even if it was having candy at her door when you wanted to leave, and nobody ever asked her for that, and she was able to order her candy and everything else herself. She could still use her mouth, so she would even play the slot machines too. So she was still living a life worth living, in a life she loved, in my opinion. It may not have been the same as it was before, but yeah, the recreation and transformation aspect, in my opinion, and being able to still keep what is the term? Because we all have, days, you have bad days where it's okay to have a bad day and it's okay to not be okay. But I have to tell you, she would have more times. So it would shock me. It move me for sure. And it would motivate me, to think that even though I have, 2 legs to walk around, and 2 arms to be able to do the things that I do, it's just the things we can maybe take for granted some days and see. And it's just how they occur, and each day when I would help with and take care of her, that would just be a reminder. So, and even now this conversation is now an even better reminder. So thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
It truly is inspiring to hear stories about people who are disabled that still do things to make life happen and make it better. it makes me think, like, what is my excuse?
Oh no, I had a veteran.
Why am I not living my
I don't
life to the
know.
fullest?
Hey, no, live life with living a life you love. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's. But I'll never forget.
Right.
I had a patient too. Took care of. Also, this one was a veteran, and I went in. He was a golfer. We used to talk a little bit about golf off and on. But when I went in one time, and he had a dark sense of humor. But when I went in, and he would be jovial too, but he would have a dark sense of humor sometimes. And I went in one time and I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" His name was started with D, so I would say D. So I said, "Hey, how you doing, D?" And he was like, "Oh, I dreamed last night." And I was like, "Okay, well, like, what did you dream about?" And he was like, "Burning nurses. They were at the stake." And he was just like literally non-mobile, paralyzed from the neck down, but sense of humor like no other. Like it was quite something, and he wanted that, and if you didn't know him, then you got to know him that way too. But yeah, D, and watched cartoons in the mornings. That's one of the things. He'd wake up, watch cartoons. Literally, just all you had to do was go in there, take off his sleeping machine, tilt the bed up, and clean his eyes out, and then you could put on the animation, and he was good for a while. Literally.
Wow.
Yep, D. Never forget D.
Bless your heart for working with these people and helping them improve their quality of life.
And it's the interesting part. I'm thankful to see it too, and that it isn't with measure. And this is only what we have right now. This is only what it is, what's available at this time. And I can only imagine. I can truly only imagine. I mean, I would think. Who was I speaking with? It was the other day. Is Watson? Watson, the AI that was. There were commercials years ago. How it was like being integrated into people's like. The commercial that I saw was like it was like an elevator, and the elevator broke down, and the Watson AI, like, this is before 2023, this was like probably 2017, 2018, like predicted that the elevator was going to go bad, so the company was able to like order the part and have it ready, and that's like the end of the commercial, right? That's the fade out. But Watson was integrated into the Cleveland Clinic years ago, and right out of their main campus in Ohio. And that was like I said, 2016, 2017. Now we're looking at AI now. And I mean, they were looking and doing literal CAT scans from what I had seen, and do your own research, but literally CAT scans where the AI would go in and literally interpret these results and then be able to compile them with a bunch of other people that had similar cases, go and do a cross analysis, and then help providers make an informed decision. Like, that's kind of what we're up against now to see. And I think the other one is I'd be curious on your opinion for this, is there's even an ingredient in Alka-Seltzer, or effervescent tablet as it's also called, that is now found, and it was a few months ago, to actually be ineffective. Yet now if you go at the store, you go and buy it, it's still in there. Phenylephrine, I believe it was phenylephrine. So it's amazing to see all these different things that are happening. It's to the point where, and I don't know how else to say it beyond saying it, is go and look on a company's profile and see if they've updated their social media pictures, because it seems they're not updating their products and the ingredients and what it is they can and can't have in the recipe. So that's just my assessment too. It doesn't mean that it's ineffective. I'm not saying the other ingredients aren't ineffective either. I'm just saying that there literally was an ingredient found in that's been there for decades, and now we're just like, nope. It's like, okay, we can just randomly throw stuff out on a whim like that, but then all these other changes, like you were talking, even at the patient level, is a hop, skip, and a jump for the patient first, and then there's policy after policy, red tape after red tape, for someone to literally try to discover stuff within their own health and wellness, and they want to do it at an age that they know now, and not trying to play catch up later. You know what I mean? Like, that's initiative, that's empowerment, that's patient empowerment. It's one of the reasons why I started Empowera. Like, exciting. But the thing is now to know the toughest nut is not the patient. The toughest nut is, from what I'm finding and I feel, is the overall experience for them in the system.
Yeah, it's hard to go through the doctor's office without feeling like a number. Or it's hard to go into the VA without feeling like you are drowned out with all the other veterans that there are out there. There's hundreds of thousands of us. I don't know the answer to how they could do better, but I just know that it could be better.
Right. And aside from the feedback survey that they give you if they do, and at whatever time it is conveniently placed, so then there's no whatever it is on the side, because I'm sure there's counter research as to when they send it to you, so there's this and that, and it's like, it shouldn't be that way. Like, literally, just give a call, see how things are. Like, that is one thing, when I did work at the Cleveland Clinic, we did callbacks, and I like that part about my orientation. Did I make it all the way through orientation? No. And that's literally what my resume says too. The discovery, I'll say that. So, but still, to be able to see that there was systems that were doing it, like it's out there, it's just the frequency in which it's done, and the overall impact it really truly has in the end. I mean, unless you see the full circle system, I wonder now if the whole system's really seeing that. Of they say that, oh, well, if you're not doing your feedback survey, well, nobody ever wants to really do a feedback survey all the time. Some people are frequent flyers that come in and get dialysis twice a week. Like, do you want them to be your only people that are doing that? No.
Right. I mean, I get the surveys for my healthcare all the time.
Yeah, what do they look like? Tell me.
I don't really care because I don't think they read them. I think that just...
Yeah, good, bad, or indifferent. Share how you feel the system is. Yeah, that's valuable. Like
it took my doctor 4 weeks to get the CAT scan, and then another 2.5 weeks to give me the results. What is that?
Yeah, and you weren't you weren't right. You weren't emergent, right? You weren't emergent. You weren't bleeding or at loss of life or limb, but still at the same time, you still felt like that was a long time. And believe it or not, this is another thing that I'm finding this out is what's called timely care. Please type that into your Google search engine, because it seems out of all the other variables and check marks that they're able to check, timely care is not one they're doing.
No,
you're up to something.
That's one of your patient rights.
Correct.
When I was in the Navy, I was being used as a guinea pig, and they were not giving me answers to my problems.
Yeah.
And
you knew it.
I remember one day, because in the Navy, in the med bay, in medical, a lot of people are just sitting around waiting for hours to be seen. And I remember one day seeing the patient rights up on the wall, and I went up and I read them all and was like, wait a minute, you're messing with me. Like, I deserve so much more.
Yep.
So I went and got a second opinion, but I took going to the hospital commander and making a complaint because it had been a year and there was no answers. So I did finally get the answer, and it was fibromyalgia.
Yeah.
But after a year of being used as a guinea pig, and even my commander for my unit, the medical commander there, she said she got off the phone with the pain clinic, and she was like, yeah, they're just using you as a guinea pig. They don't know what's wrong with you. So you're going to get an administrative separation. And I'm like, well, let me process that myself. Meanwhile, I go to the hospital and I complain about they're threatening to administratively separate me, but you haven't given me any answers for my kidney problems. Turns out it's not just kidney problems, it's fibromyalgia. So timely care, yeah. It's all a matter of opinion. What's timely?
Well, no. I think seeing it within measure too, so it's like point to point, right? Because you didn't have to just go to one point to figure all this out. You know what I'm saying? Like timely care, consistently carried point to point. If I have to put it into a rhyme or a riddle, hopefully that helps, at least for me, the way I see it myself, but is it not just, okay, well, maybe the first couple appointments we make sure that, things are done right, and then after that we just slow fade out, right? We just slow drip out the quality, and then we make them do the majority because, it's all about the numbers. And it's not. People can still choose what insurance companies they want. They can still choose to take them from their employer. I know professionals now that are going straight through a third party because they'd rather have like a supplementation of what it is that they're being told is their pay package, and knowing that I don't need your guys' healthcare insurance, I can get it on my own and get the exact same plan with the same literal provider, and not have that as a distinction. And then you guys say, well, that's the reason why the pay packages are so low. I'm bouncing around here, but then that still influences the overall position, because then you have healthcare providers that know their worth, and then you still have people in need that need those positions. And then there's people that it's not, I don't know what's the phrase I keep seeing online. In my opinion, it's not a nursing shortage. It's not. There isn't a nursing shortage, in my opinion. It's just people being fed up and not wanting to be within that kind of a system. And if they do at whatever way that they want to, and I honestly think, not just nurses, but I think the side hustle and people being their own bosses is just the thing. I mean, it's been the way throughout time, I think, but more and more people, I think, are having the conversation to see, how can I generate a profit? How can I get into business? If they want to be able to help, not only just in health and wellness, but anywhere, that they have as their area of cause, or that they have a call to action to.
Right. Not everybody feels led to be a nurse, but
Yeah.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for the nurses that have been like angels in my life.
Yeah. Oh no, not just nurses. I mean, anybody, whether it's a veteran, whether it's a shopkeeper, someone who owns a thrift store, someone who owns a candy shop, and then that tells people, yeah, maybe you should try something else. Don't have candy today. Like that's a good candy shop. Another one's like, oh yeah, always come and get candy. We haven't had red, whatever in our stuff in 40 years, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. Well, here we go. Like this is 2025 now here, living in America. So we're gonna be looking to see if we have that kind of stuff in there. Let me see your ingredients list when I come in here. Like I'd be surprised you hop into your local food place now, and then they're, or at least in time, as to how scrutinous they will be with that. Because that's one of the other beauties I think of the United States. I'm here to say about other parts of the world, but is that you have that overall area of not having that over scrutiny. That's one of the beauties as to if you are up to something, to not have that used against you, or to have any kind of governing body be over scrutinous in a situation. And if they are, then you have a rationale as to why. Hopefully you can get clear. Like that's one of the best parts, I think, if you're ever up to something in even any area of integrity, when it comes to trying to recreate in life, and seeing what barriers and paywalls you may run into, whether the paywall is that of a debt, or because not all debts are money paid too, so
Right.
yeah, wow. And some of the other debts are a pain in the end of the week, versus if you had taken time, not just you in general, but anybody. If they had taken that, what is the phrase by Ben Franklin, and I'm sure he got it from somebody else that was wise too, was an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of good.
Wow. So, that's actually really clever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and I'm not here to share over, that's just one of the quotes I had gotten, and do your own research too. Like anything, in moderation. So I think that's the other one too. That's not his quote. It's just moderation in general too. I'll never forget that, being in my nutrition classes. I know I had a past guest talk about it too. Is being able to answer that, or whenever we went over something that seems so finite, right, in nutrition, about food or anything else, I'd raise my hand and go, now how about moderation? And usually I was never wrong. It's just the ability of being able to see that. Correct, right? Even for me, I mean, do your own research, but you can still moderate excessive moderation. If some people still want to have this is just me, the whole product at one time, then okay, but just moderate it. Sometimes the splurge day. People still have those. Even great athletes have the splurge day. So and they've declared it. We've seen it. Various platforms, in my opinion, at least I have in my experience. Where everybody has to declare that, oh yeah, I do, yeah, I still, like Dwayne Johnson, yeah, he still has his cheat day, yeah, still, or whoever, because they're human, but that's still part of their own area of health and wellness too. So, wow, and you've been swimming, wow, and Olympic-sized pool.
Yes.
Wow.
13 feet deep.
Oof.
And 25 yards.
Wow. I honestly feel, this is my own personal opinion, that swimming is probably one of the best workouts for the whole body, and we can take it with us for a lot of life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's the best. I feel like it's the best, the easiest on your limbs and joints.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, that's what you get from it. All right.
Yeah, and I use the flippers, and then I have a paddle that goes on each of my hands.
Yeah.
That kind of slips on there, and then I got a nose plug and some goggles and apps. I'm all prepared.
Yeah. Wow.
And I'm a little bummed I won't be able to go swimming until tomorrow, but
yeah.
I still will be able to squeeze in a dry workout, as I call it.
Hey. No, that's literally what we would do even when I was on the swim team back in high school, was we'd have dry workout days, right? So, and that's the interesting part is that, I don't have to say it beyond saying, it's probably one of the most mind-boggling things, now that you brought it up, is that distinction of being in the pool and doing a workout and getting fatigued, and then getting out and then having your body, you're working on the other muscles in a totally different way, and sometimes an equivalent way, and to see that, how that transition, at least for me, that was my discovery. I was just like, that was my aha or wow moment, was I was just like, I don't know, I feel like sometimes even the dry land, that's what we called it, dry land was sometimes more difficult, I feel. But at other times too, then I'd get in the pool and we'd do laps, and I'm like, nope, it's this. So it was an indecisive moment, but it was muscle confusion nonetheless, which is, I think, one of the things you're supposed to do with workouts. So confuse them.
Yeah, I like to be able to take about an hour in the pool and just pace myself.
Yeah.
But if I have if my time is shortened, then I will push myself harder in a shorter amount of time.
Okay.
So the other day I only had 30 minutes to get my workout in, and I never got out of the pool panting. I was trying to catch my breath.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I'm like, oh, what a workout.
Oh my gosh.
That felt so good.
And then the other one that got me too was swimming. At least when I was doing swimming, if I can relate, was beginning of season versus end of season, ease. Because I literally even, the thing is moving up lanes. I'm not here to brag, but that's literally their areas of measure. Is one of the ways is if you are a little bit faster, they will move you up in lanes. And I think it was not seeing the way and being able to fine tune the way you swim. Because I mean, if you get all your movements just right, you can literally do them a lot longer than you would. For me, I started day one, beginning of practice, first day, because I only did it 1 year in high school. Okay. But still, that was the discovery part that I got to see. And there was even the stroke. What was the one called? Butterfly, right? The Michael Phelps one, right?
The hardest one.
Oh my gosh, 120%. So literally, I don't know if I said this in a past podcast or not, but I had a coach that he wanted me to learn butterfly. I loved breaststroke. I had the legs of a frog, so that was my favorite too. But he tried to get me to learn how to do a butterfly, and when he did, we literally got surgical tubing, and he tied it into a knot, and then he tied it around my legs. So no matter what, because that was my reaction, is I would kick my legs out like a frog, which is the way you're supposed to do breaststroke, but you can't do it that way for butterfly.
No.
I tried it, and he put it on my legs, and I tried to do it. My legs still tried to kick out, and I literally kicked the surgical tubing off 2 or 3 times. I was even shocked, because I could not move my legs when I finally because you had to hook it up first, and then I got in the water, right? So I was just blown away, just to see that the distribution of I guess for me, the distribution of power that you can have in your body when it's done correctly, and then how much work you do and do not have to do too. Well, you know what I'm saying? Some workouts, even just plyometrics, or I don't want to say passive workouts, but even just the repetitive, some repetitive actions can even be more of a workout. Even an outstretched arm too, holding an object, can still be a big workout versus a big barbell that if you drop on your foot, it's a whole other story. And I hope it never happens to anybody. But it's a risk you're up. Or in the band too, you could still have it go bad, have it the integrity be bad, and have it slap in your face. I've had that happen to me before too. So check your bands, check your equipment. But yeah, wow. It's what was the other one that got me that I was reading online was food. And everybody's big conversation now with food, and that's just our generation. I can only imagine the other generations. Are you hearing any other generations having conversations about food or any
people
areas
always want to ask me, "Did you eat today? What did you eat today?"
Oh.
And I'm like, I don't eat.
Well, and people are fasting too. I mean, even during I believe it's Ramadan too. I'm not for sure if it still is, but some people are not all people are doing that. And some people are even looking at fasting now for certain periods of time where they only want to eat during certain windows, so
yeah.
And to see that you're doing a consult, I'm glad. Power to you on being able to know the structure of healthcare and what it is you can get out of it, and seeing what it looks like too.
Yeah, they wrote out a whole thing for me. I had a conference with 6 different professional doctors.
Yeah, what happened? Yeah,
obviously they're professional, they're a doctor, but yeah, they wrote out a treatment plan, and it was work out every single day for 30 minutes a day at minimum. Drink X amount of water. Eat vegan, gluten-free, non-GMO. Take this if you have pain. They wrote it down, and it's okay, it shouldn't be too hard, but actually drinking that much water is kind of hard, and getting to the gym every day is kind of hard, but I'm making that hard happen because being sick is hard, being in pain is hard, but you just got to pick which hard you want. Which one is going to be worth it. To me, working out is always going to be the hard that I like to choose.
Yeah. No, and in the end,
it is like medicine.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I feel like food and exercise are literally a part of medicine, of the wellness aspect, and to see the overall educational system with the patient they go in. What's interesting is how scrupulously monitored their food and diet is. What isn't interesting, or even more, I guess we could say is more interesting, depending on how you want to look at it, is then knowing the educational aspect on even that being post-discharge, right? Or right by discharge. Is what did you really get from each experience? Is it just whatever it is was ailing you, or whatever was the diagnosis, or was it wholehearted? Was it something you can see then, and not just a printout that says, eat high calcium foods, and whatever has been there and is a printout for everybody else too. It'd be even interesting to see, at least even post-discharge, if in specific cases you could have a check mark to be able to, like, this does apply to this patient, like, and then this doesn't, so let's cater this instead of just, okay, well, this was the DRG, diagnosis related group is the area of measure I found within medicine they'll use, even insurance will. I don't know if you've heard that phrase or not, but yeah, DRG. And that's like, I guess, the one size fits all sometimes that most people had seen. Like, why do I feel like I'm being treated like a one size fits all because of this and this diagnosis? There are things in areas of relatedness I think that people will have. There's also, here's the other one, same thing with the judicial system is. There's also, first of all, there's idiopathic, where they don't know what the cause is. So I guess you could say the equivalent would be the cold case, right? So at least within health and wellness, and that could be anything. Literally, they could say, oh, we figured out what this is, but we just know it's idiopathic. I remember back in nursing school, that was one of the words that blew my mind. And I still to this day, I'm like, okay, that's an area now that we have, and could it be idiopathic for only a certain period of time, whatever it is, and then we can have more of a finite answer. And then what does that journey look like, right? Point to point of areas where you have to be able to find out what you have to find out to know thyself, and by knowing thyself, it could be, well, I want to know myself by having a better area of wellness, and that can still be an area of discovery for yourself along the way. Because, I mean, you're talking about even going to the gym all these times, like, you're discovering that, like, this is a journey, and, like, you didn't know that before, like, or at least if you did, it's to a different degree now, and you can see that for yourself. That's one of the most interesting parts, too.
Yeah, the journey it's been a long time since I moved in here in this apartment, July of 2024. It was at my biggest 272 and a half, and now I'm down to 265 or 255. So I'm almost down 20 pounds since I started, and it wasn't always. It felt like I was going back and forth, 262, 266, 262, 266. Right. So I decided to just push myself a little bit harder inside the gym, and now the weight is coming off.
Yeah.
So it's like the more weight that comes off, the better my quality of life will be, because things will become easier, like putting my socks and shoes on, or just getting dressed, simple things, taking a shower.
Yeah.
It's just, you don't realize the destruction you're doing to your body by gaining all that weight. But, like, I had my knees, it felt like my knee was going to explode on me going down the biggest. I, developed something with my knee. I don't know what it is, but thankfully it's gone away now. But if I can get into the gym 5 out of 7 days of the week, then I feel like that's a good week.
Yeah.
But before was, if I can just this week.
Yeah.
So it wasn't an overnight thing.
No, progress, not perfection, right? You didn't have perfection over, not to say that you're at perfection even now, and even me. No, I'm not even at perfection now, but you saw that area of measure of progress, and progress is added up to where it is you're at, even at now.
Right. Yeah, and I am my own motivation. I look at pictures, like I have an album in my phone of transformation pictures, and that gives me more motivation than anything. And seeing videos of myself on my TikTok from 2023, where I was at my smallest, I'm like, I can do that again. I can get back there. I can be healthy. I want to be able to do gymnastics like I did when I was younger, and dance and move around.
Mm-hmm. Hey, now's the time, and you're up to knowing it too, and it's the investment. The investments you make. I have to say this too. It's my own discovery. The investments you make, the earlier part of your life really set you up, for whatever it is that you want to be up to. And I've seen things go good. It doesn't mean I've seen them all, right? But I've seen things go good, and I've also seen things go, not good. So, and to see that, at least for me, and it fills up my cup, I guess is the best way to say it. To see that a veteran wants to make a difference in that area of life, versus all that I have seen in the past for myself, that's beyond measure for me. Like, that's just, I really don't know what else to say to it besides good on you, and keep going and don't stop, because that's literally what it is that I've been up to. It's one of my goals, is to be able to see that with a measure. And you're not letting anybody down by not doing it either. We all have our upsets. We all have our, like we said too, false summits too, and discoveries along the way. So I think that's all part of the journey too. If you didn't have that, then is it really a journey? Is it really the adventure?
Right. It's been a crazy journey.
Yeah. And there's certain days where it's like, I don't know, like, I don't think, even with when I'm working out, because I haven't done it in a while now too, But at the same time, too, a few days ago, I was motivated. I was like, I'm going to do some push-ups, and then it ease back into this kind of thing, and at times, even then, when you get into it, when people are easing in, and I noticed this, I know somebody, medical diagnosis called rhabdomyolysis, right? Long word, don't know if you've heard of it. Have you heard of it?
Never.
So long story short, this individual went to state for wrestling, right? They'd been in and out of the ringer of being able to work out and whatnot, but they had stepped away for a while of their life, and they had also, put on some weight as well, but they wanted to get back into the gym, and when they did, they didn't ease back into it, right? And what happened is your muscle will literally break down into proteins, and then the proteins go into your blood goes to your kidneys, and then your kidneys can shut down. And this can happen with anybody. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're not easing into working out, and most people don't know it. And what's interesting is one of the hallmark signs, and this person called me when I was in my critical care class back in nursing school. I'll never forget it. But one of the first hallmark signs is the urine. Your urine, literally your pee, cola or port wine. And I asked this individual after I found this out, and after they went and got care and they got dialyzed, that's what you have to do, is because your kidneys, proteins are too big. Your kidneys are like the coffee filters of your body, and it's like trying to get a lima bean through a coffee filter, right? So you have to have some help, right? Your kidneys won't be able to do it. But when he did, they finally all came clear, and I asked him, I said, what color was your pee beforehand? And was not monitoring it. And I was like, okay, well, that's like one of the first hallmark signs before like anything. Like what came after that, if you had looked at it, was heart palpitations, and that's when this individual called me, and we were able to take action, and then that's literally what it was, and it was potassium too, because potassium's in your muscle too, and that's the other thing they had to dialyze out too, because like anything, like your heart's a muscle too, right? So it wasn't just from their heart; it was literally in their body. So yeah, ease into it, take it slow. That's the weird part I'm getting about society is we have these advertisements that are like, first of all, the Barbie body, and then we have the massively, I don't know how else to say it beyond saying it, and I'm not trying to be a name person, but the person is literally like a T-Rex. Like they are jacked like no other, but they can't move their hands above their head at all. And it's like, or their tops are bigger than their bottom. Like there's like no workout that's been done for the distribution of the whole body. And we're talking about the whole body experience, of thinking that. So even then, it what we would call healthy, is it really healthy? You know what I mean? Or is it what marketing has had out there to distribute out products, services, and whatever it is, and to be able to take it on for yourself and to see improvement for yourself? Like I said, that just fills me up. Like that's beyond like knowing whatever the conversations are out there with marketing aside, and energy drinks or whatever it is that's out there. For the term is big health, right? We have big pharma. Talked about big pharma, knowing big pharma. We also have big health. So and they've been up against each other, and I think there's areas in both of them where they're right. I think there's areas in both of them where they're wrong. So, and it's the area of interrelatedness, and I think the other absence of culture too, because there's certain cultures that are using stuff and have for hundreds of years. Like even native, isolated Amazonian tribes have still been able to use specific things for hundreds of years. Still had success. Somehow they're still around. I mean, from what we got, from what we know, that may be one of them. But whether it was plant medicine or even just therapeutic techniques, as going out and eating natural food. I mean, there's African tribes that will go out and run for a good portion of their day only to get honey out of a tree, but then they eat a ton of honey, and it's raw honey, and they have this affinity to stick their hand into the tree and not get stung. And it's like, well, is that that's a survival aspect that they have that I don't, because I'm here in urban America? Like, what if I want to stick my some honey and not get stung? Is that what healthy is? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's perspective on the global part of the world, because I mean, that's one of the other cool parts about honey. I mean, going off on a side tangent here is that's one of the reasons why it lasts so long, is because the water content is so low and nothing can really survive on it. Matter of fact, you mentioned psilocybin, just mushrooms in general. Liquid cultures, if you get those for any mushroom, some of them, at least the majority I've found, can actually survive on honey.
Wow.
Almost, you know what I'm saying? So they're almost going to survive indefinitely. It's quite something. There's a way to do it too. It's called liquid culture. Again, do your own research. But honey, health, history, culture. Wow, this has been quite a conversation, and would love for you to return. However, I do want to see if we can, as we live life in measure, if there's anything first you want to mention, and then if you could provide us with your empowering quote to bring us back.
Yes, I do not have anything else I'd like to add, but I do want to say Mary Ford Grabowski This is a quote from her.
Okay.
Out of my Everyday Gratitude Inspiration for Living Life as a Gift book. It says, recipients of our appreciation are apt to express their own gratitude to others, lengthening the unending golden chain of connections and goodness that stretches across the world. Should I read it again?
Please do. You can do it 3 times, actually. That's a lot to take. No, it's a lot to take. It's powerful. Thank you. It's a great quote. Great quote.
Yeah, recipients of our appreciation are apt to express their own gratitude to others, lengthening the unending golden chain of connections and goodness that stretches across the world. So I'm thankful and I am very appreciative of this opportunity.
That's a very visual quote. I'm like seeing this chain across the world right now. This is just me.
We've got a never-ending golden chain of connections and goodness that stretches across the world.
Oh, and the goodness too. We can't forget the goodness part. Yeah, no, the goodness part is good. To be that of good and that is of goodness, and to see the goodness administered in whatever way that it may be seen. Wow.
Powerful stuff.
I love it. This has been another episode of Empowera with Julie out of Boston. Thank you, Julie. Appreciate you. Thank you for your service, and we look forward to having you back sometime. Would that be all right?
Yes, that is fine with me.
All right. Bye for now, folks. And cut.